Recently, Triple H has had a lot of success. His main contributions to Raw and SmackDown have been successful episodes. That being said, it doesn't imply that every edition is perfect. Last night, the game may have committed a major error, but that's just the way it is. Because of this, the WWE Universe may not get to see a possible blood feud. Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser had an entertaining exchange for Raw viewers. I would have thought things would be much worse between Kaiser and Damian Priest after last week's tension and Kaiser's defeat at Priest's hands. It seems like Triple H and WWE have agreed to put things on hold since the Imperium teammates had a friendly conversation. Some were hoping that the plot between the World Heavyweight Champion and Ludwig Kaiser would develop, even if the ring general is now busy with the Archer of Infamy. There would have been an intense blood war if Kaiser had betrayed Gunther. However, this does not seem to be happening anytime soon. Obviously, this is all in the early stages, and Triple H may return to this rivalry in the future. However, at the present time, it is just conjecture. After all, WWE's creative team has yet to reveal their plans for the pair. The question of whether Gunther will face Ludwig Kaiser in the future is one that Triple H can go into at a later time. The next 2 weeks will be quite busy for him. Prior to the most crucial action, he needs to ensure a successful Survivor Series, War Games edition. Moving Raw to Netflix from the USA Network. A watershed moment has occurred as WWE makes the transition from cable to an over-the-top OTT platform. With other A-listers scheduled to make guest appearances, the premiere episode is shaping up to be quite the spectacle. At Intuit Dome, you may see stars like Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and John Cena. There is an air of anticipation, and the last days before the event are guaranteed to be considerably busier than the rest. My hope is that the cerebral assassin can pull off a smooth transition and provide another fantastic Red Brand episode. Fans rejoiced when Triple H reclaimed creative power as WWE's chief content officer. His mastery of long-term booking and storytelling allowed him to breathe new life into Raw and SmackDown by creating riveting plots that kept fans glued to their screens. But what happened on Monday Night Raw recently has many fans and experts confused, as they question whether the game may have committed an unusual gaffe. The battle in question was widely expected to escalate into one of the most intimate and heated rivalries in WWE history, and here we are. Rumor has it that the angle could be completely shelved now. Did Triple H just make an unusual gaffe, or is there more going on here? Two aspiring stars, Superstar A and Superstar B, have been in a symbiotic relationship for months at this plot point. Anger and hostility blossomed from what started as subtle teasing and altercations behind the scenes. Wrestlers started giving cryptic promos and interfering in each other's fights months earlier, sowing the roots of their enmity. The anticipation of what many thought would be a violent, no-holds-barred showdown at a forthcoming premium live event had been growing for weeks. Betrayal, ambition, and the ultimate goal of establishing one's rightful place at the top of WWE's food chain were all key themes in the plot. The animosity, however, seemed to have halted on this week's Raw program. The program abruptly veered to the left, rather than maintaining the gradual buildup that had enthralled viewers. Superstar B's position was reduced, and Superstar A was abruptly moved to a different show, leading viewers to wonder whether the rivalry had been dropped. According to those close to the situation backstage, WWE's higher management made the decision to end the feud. Despite Triple H's praise for his creative independence, he is nonetheless beholden to the corporate structure, which includes the sway of TKO Group Holdings, the new parent company of WWE. Concerns about the ferocity of the rivalry were hinted to by one source. Something really emotional and raw was developing, and it seemed like it was heading toward a blood feud. However, due to the increased corporate monitoring, there is a great deal of reluctance to go to extremes with some views. Time is another possible consideration. To prevent the feud from overshadowing other major events, WWE may have chosen to postpone it in anticipation of Survivor Series and to adapt the storylines that have evolved to fit the War Games style. Fans have taken note of the possible end to this conflict. Many people were disappointed by the abrupt shift of focus after Raw, and the reaction on social media reflected it. After months of building anticipation, this plot point is suddenly non-existent. If there is no end result, why bother building it up? Despite Triple H's reputation as a brilliant storyteller, this is a huge disappointment. At this point, why not just leave it on? They seem too chicken to really commit to this feud, which is a shame because it had the potential to rival Rock vs. Austin. A feeling of betrayal is at the root of the dissatisfaction. This change seems sudden and unconnected to the careful pacing that WWE fans have grown to anticipate from Triple H's long-term programming. Payoffs for well-developed feuds are among the most essential aspects of professional wrestling. Fans pour their hearts and souls into these plots, waiting for the big reveal when it all comes to a head. Taking that moment away, or even worse, acting hastily or poorly, might make the audience feel let down. Payoffs have always been Triple H's strong suit. Storylines that rewarded fans for their patience became NXT's trademark under his guidance. Think about the legendary feud between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano as an example. The conflict lasted for years, took many turns, and finally came down to battles that were very personal and emotionally fraught. Everything that might have been a blood feud on Raw was there. Two rivals with obvious chemistry, a complex history, and an overwhelming feeling of animosity. By treating it as if it doesn't exist, WWE runs the danger of turning off fans who were hoping for a payout. Speculation amongst fans and insiders has suggested that WWE may have overreacted by deciding to downplay the conflict. A common complaint leveled against WWE during Vince McMahon's tenure was that the company hot-shotted storylines, meaning that feuds were either dropped or rushed without proper development. Fans were hoping for a return to slow-burn narrative when Triple H took control, and he mostly delivered. On the other hand, this new information points to a possible overcorrection. WWE could no longer be eager to completely commit to certain storylines for fear of criticism if they don't work out. Your creative choices should not be dictated by fear, as the former WWE employee stated it simply. Experimentation is the name of the game in wrestling. Being too careful might lead to a loss of the thrill and surprise that characterize this field. Even if things aren't looking good, WWE could just be pausing the rivalry instead of ending it completely. If that's the case, maybe the animosity might be rekindled in the future. In order to save the plot, WWE would have to recognize the change. WWE cannot turn a blind eye to the sudden pivot. If they bring up the feud again, they should explain why it stopped and include it into the story. Raises the bar on the individual level. The dispute seemed real and intimate, which drew fans in. The payout will be much more shocking if WWE plays into it. Wait it out. WWE should not hurry to a resolution at this point. If the conflict is brought back to life, it should be treated with the meticulousness and enthusiasm that first captivated viewers. This little setback may annoy some listeners, but it won't discredit Triple H as a creative genius in the long run. Even in a highly unexpected genre like professional wrestling, slip-ups are certain to happen. Nonetheless, it's a good lesson that no storyteller, no matter how talented, can afford to ignore their listeners. Under Triple H's guidance, WWE has amassed a devoted audience, but with that devotion comes high expectations. More general concerns over WWE's future under its new corporate structure have been raised by this incident. Will there be more examples of creative restraint as TKO Group Holdings increases its influence? But can Triple H keep up the daring, unpredictable storytelling that fans have come to expect while navigating these challenges? Supporters can only pray that this possible blood feud isn't over just yet. WrestleMania can provide a once-in-a-lifetime event because of its talented staff, ample resources, and innovative ideas. Whether they grasp the chance or allow it to pass them by is the question.